red button.
Yeah, okay, so it's recording.
Okay, perfect.
Well, I'm Brittany.
Nice to meet you. I'm Christina.
Nice to meet you too. So, how would you like to go first? You want me to go first?
It's up to you. If you want to go first, you can.
Okay, so for my critical issue in education, the topic that I chose was the lack of special education services currently in the education field.
Okay, I like it. And then mine is play-based learning instead of the testing focused curriculum in kindergarten.
Extremely important.
Yes, you know.
Yes.
You get
Oh my gosh.
it.
Live, breathe it. I fully agree.
Oh
Never
yeah,
been conform.
I did it for a year last year. So yeah, just in that 1 year, how much you can learn is crazy.
Yeah, and the school I work at in a charter school, we have a lot more flexibility with our instruction. So after my lead teacher left and I took over, I try to incorporate more play-based learning. They're having a much better response to it
Yeah.
than they were just doing like very strict academic structure previously.
You're so lucky to work at a charter school. You have no clue. So a little backstory was where I'm at, it's a small town in Florida, like Southwest Florida. But we don't have any charter schools. Like we only have,
Oh.
I think we have three elementary schools. We have one middle school and one high school. So like we don't even have an option for a charter school. So when I was the long-term sub last year for kindergarten, like eye-opening.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine because like I don't have a lot of experience like in public school other than like attending one myself. But I started at this charter school years ago because they have like an early childhood through eighth grade program.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law also works at this school in the middle school program. So I
Nice.
started in early childhood and like I moved my way up. So whenever I have my daughter soon, she will also be going to the same school. But I did not realize like how great the differences were between charter school and public
Oh
school.
yeah, I have friends that work at charter schools and they're like they'll never go back to like public school and I'm like I wish we had that option but like I don't even have that option. I'm sure if I wanted to drive like an hour somewhere,
Yeah.
that's like my only option because all the big towns that have charter schools are like an hour away. So then that's not like ideal for me because I have kids. So yeah, so I'm stuck at the public school for now, but I took a year off. So trying to
Oh.
figure out, my next move because public school's hard.
Yeah, I can only imagine just from like everything like going through like the education science program and like learning and comparing them. I mean, like there really wasn't much like comparison like private schools either, but like I can't even imagine. But so for the reason why I chose the lack of special education services, my emphasis in my major is disabilities in society.
Okay.
And I work with a lot of students that have special needs. So a lot of them like don't know like where to get special education services, how to have these accommodations, and the schools where my nephews go to, they don't have a lot of these services available, and one of them is showing signs that they might need more support in their academic space. So it's a very special topic in my heart.
Yeah.
I feel very strongly for it.
Yes. And you should because it's no, I get it. Like I understand because like where our public schools, maybe not so much, I don't know about the charter school, but like one of the public schools that I know here, there's parents that like have had to pull their kids out because their kids were not getting the help that they needed and they were in like ESC and all that. And the schools just kind of like brushed it, under the rug.
Yeah, like it's kind of like they are doing what they need to, like by the law, like giving them an IEP, but then not giving them the supports that they need to successfully complete their IEP and meet their goals.
Yeah.
So, especially like in like rural areas where there aren't like a lot of like school options, kind of like in the districts where you're working at, there so many families are being put on IEPs, but there's not enough staff members or any type of supports, or the teachers don't have enough education on how to provide them the supports that they're required to have.
hmm No, I totally understand that. Um, so all right, I'm trying to figure out like how this interview is supposed to go.
Yeah,
So
I was so like there's kind of like a
you're
question,
okay, so
like
like your little backstory.
yes, backstory, reason why.
So okay, and then I'm supposed to ask you questions, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I had some written down. Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. Somebody's at my
No,
door.
it's fine.
Gosh, sorry.
I don't mind.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
My dog is getting groomed and they were supposed to be here at 9:30 and that did not happen. So,
Oh,
okay.
it's okay. It can
Okay.
happen.
Okay. So what are some specific like barriers that you think have prevented schools from providing like adequate special education services?
I would say funding, staffing, and as well as just general location, because a lot of areas that are in lower income, they tend to have a greater need for special education services, but there's a lack of availability to those services or
Mhm.
access. And if there's not staffing to support the special education services, and those students can't receive those services, as well as training on like the educators part, because all educators to some extent have an understanding of what they need to do to support an IEP. But if they don't actually know what they need to do, then the student's going to lack and not have those support services.
Mhm. Yep. Good. Um, all right. And then, so how do you think the lack of special education services impacts not just the students with disabilities, but like the just the overall like school environment?
So if the student is in a classroom of 24 other children and they're requiring more attention to those services, the rest of the students could be lacking. So that could be putting more stress on the educator and even the administrators above that are supposed to be supporting that educator, because they don't know what they need to do because they have to tend to a whole classroom. And if they don't have the support that they need to help that specific student, then the whole class is suffering because they have to constantly stop to make sure that they can provide those accommodations or redirection and try to problem solve as quickly as they can to not take away from instruction.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. So then my last question would be, so what strategies do you think could like help effective, for improved like school education services for that? Like, what do you think could help improve or like what ways or
Well, obviously, I think providing more funding would be great, but that's not always the most realistic accessible resource. So
Mhm.
I think providing educators with like a better understanding of adaptive services on how to problem solve or like what techniques they can use on how to do like differentiated instruction, like how to change their instruction modeling to help support that student, but it could also support other students or like flexible seating. Just learning small tweaks that they could do in the classroom
Yeah.
that can make their life easier to help support that student.
hmm No, I totally get it. I think, you know, when I look at like ESE and just some of the different classes and teachers that I've had friends with, like in the public schools, just the lack of like resources for sure, you know, and then it's hard because they don't always like get the full support from the school system, you know,
Mhm.
so then it's kind of left on the teachers to figure it out. And it's hard for the teachers because if you're in, you know, I have one teacher at the school that I was working at last year. Um, and she's, you know, she's got an assistant, but it's like a full on like ESE class. And then there's, I don't even know, 14 or like, I don't know, like it's a full class. Anyways, and she was like, sometimes she's like, sometimes I have to put noise canceling headphones on because she's like, it's just so much. You know, but you just take that. So when she's already, I guess, like almost like overstimulated, but then can you imagine too, like having to put together these plans as well and like advocate for each individual, you know, that can
Yeah,
be a lot of mental strain. So then they might miss a point, right? Like on the IEPs or something like that. So if schools could understand that a little bit more, maybe there could be more, I don't know, like support, you know, or I don't know. But yeah,
absolutely. And if it's just her and then an assistant in a classroom, like that's great. But realistically, as they get older, that assistant will go away. There will be no more support from that person.
yeah,
And like in my classroom specifically, like I have about two students that have IEPs, but the rest of my class doesn't. So having to provide like all their accommodations and like some of my students don't understand why they need certain support. So it's just like, oh, like these just help so and so. And having to be realistic, like on like when discussing IEPs in a meeting that like moving forward, like these things aren't always going to be available, but
yeah. And they always, and I feel like they have to be adjusted each time because what might work for a little bit might not work in a couple months. And I think that was like one of the things too when I got like kind of like thrown in there. I had to do a lot of my own research for like the IEPs and stuff like that because I had like two or three that
mhm.
was like that. And then two, so then you're doing like parent meetings and you're doing it with your admin and all that. And that's a lot of pressure because, you know, you're still having to like run a full classroom, but then do this. And when you don't know all the right things to, I guess, like ask for, it's kind of intimidating, I guess. I don't know, maybe just for me.
No,
So
it's
I,
a lot of pressure, especially because like we've been in a similar situation that it's a lot like because I just got done with all my spring conferences and they're all just like, well, what do I need to do? And I'm like, because their teacher just left recently. At least I've been in the classroom all school year, but like having to do like IEP meetings, like if I didn't have like a lot of the background knowledge, like from like focusing on disabilities, like I wouldn't know everything to do. And like I still look up like what are like some good techniques I could try out. And then
yeah.
I bring it up to my admin or my student services and be like, can we try this? But yeah, it's a lot of like self research.
Yeah, it is. And I think like for me, yeah, I had to do a lot of research, but for me, what helped was my daughter. She's got like an IEP and a 504 and all that. And so I've been in those meetings. And so I was able, you know, like you said, to have that prior knowledge to kind of be like, okay, well, maybe let's try this. But then there was still so many new things I felt like that I didn't know. And I was like having to learn as we went, but it's a lot. And for like the public schools too, you know, so if you add in having to do like the IEPs and the 504s, there's also another part, which is the MTSS, and that's like another whole process as well because you're having to track all their academics. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's not just for behavior, it is because, the lack of or whatever. But so then when you're trying to do all that and add that together, it's a lot. It's and you need the support, but then there is that like funding part because like even our school, because of funding, they just got rid of the person that did like the MTSS. And the girl that does that, she was always like in the IEP meetings and all that because she was able to kind of help like advocate and stuff like also but put in her input. And that was really nice. And so, but now she's not there because funding is gone.
And that's such an important resource for parents to have and educators to have and have just that extra little bit of support in it. Like it makes the parents feel better whenever there's a whole team to like help explain these things to them.
Yeah, for sure.
And if it's not there, what are they supposed to do? And the IEP can only get reevaluated if the parent requests it before the year is up. So if the parent doesn't know exactly like how the classroom is operating or what supports are lacking, like they don't know when the IEP needs to be readjusted, if techniques stop working or
Well, and I can speak from experience. My daughter had it in elementary school and it was just different, I guess, because she didn't have a lot of teachers she was switching from. And
Mhm.
so this year she's moved up to middle school and she's in sixth grade, but she goes through six teachers and they
Yeah.
all are different. They're all, whatever. And I can tell you it's been a real challenge because it has changed so much. And you like their communication, I think sometimes too, with like even the teachers and all that, it's just not there. Like once they're in middle school, a lot of the teachers are kind of like, they're on their own. Like,
Good
dear,
luck. I
yeah,
have
like good
friends.
luck.
Yeah.
Don't write to me. And so, and it's been a challenge. Like I've been having to fight it with the school and the teachers because I'm like, I can't help if you're not like communicating and telling me. And I need to know all these things so that way we can set it up and, you know.
Yeah, and like it's really important to have like that student educator connection, which is even more challenging like as they get older because they have to go through so many teachers. So there's that lack of bond, which
Yep.
I feel like is also, even if it's not a specific special education service, it is a vital tool in education, being able to build that bond
Yeah.
with the teacher, which helps everybody out in the end.
100%. Yep. No, yep. I think your topic is like one of those topics that's like important and it should be discussed more and it kind of just it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if it's because it's a hassle, but I just feel, I don't know, maybe because some of the public schools here, I just feel like when I look at how they've been handling it, I'm just like
Mhm.
kind of sad.
Yeah, which I mean, obviously I haven't had that same experience, but I've read enough articles on it. I'm like, that's just so sad
Mhm.
that that has to keep happening, but they keep pushing for these services, but they can't do anything about
Yeah. No. I
it. But so for this portion of the interview, is there anything like what would you say I need to grow on or glow on?
Well, I think glow would be that you really know what you're talking about and using your like prior experiences.
Mhm.
I think makes a big difference when you have a topic that you're passionate about
Mhm.
because it kind of just puts things in perspective, right? Like it's not just like, oh, well, I read this online. It's like, no, I've actually like I've lived this, I've seen this. And for me, I think that's like, huge. Um,
Mhm.
let's see. And then I think like grow. I don't know. That's kind of like hard, right?
Yeah, for sure. But what do
I
you say?
know it's like they put us on the spot. It's like, okay. I'm trying to think of like something because I really don't know. I don't
I
know.
feel like
I
maybe
feel
like
like
my wording or like my verbiage, like my articulation with my explanations. I don't know, my pregnancy brain. I feel like it impacts a lot of my interviews or recording right now,
I
just
felt
because,
like you did really good though.
well, I'm like, I feel like I could improve on that personally. Because,
Okay.
like, I feel like I kind of just said the same thing over and over again. So I feel like that's something I feel like I can
So
grow
maybe like just your structure, like
on
just
my structure, a little
like
bit more.
lining it up to stay in order and then just
Yeah,
like
because I feel like I can go like here, 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 here.
no, I'm the same way sometimes, but like I feel like my husband's that way because sometimes he has to like get up and speak at our church and sometimes he's just like all over the place and so I'm just like, honey, you have to stay on topic and he's like, I know, but it's so hard. And I'm like, I
Oh.
know, but yeah.
I feel like I'm just like a little puppy, like let's just go here, here, here. And then my husband is like very professional, like he works his corporate job, he can give all the presentations, and then I'm over here like la 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 la, which I feel like is only like more exaggerated right now because I'm 8 months
I
pregnant.
But I feel like when I'm passionate about things, that's how I get. Like I want to just jump all over and it's because it gets
Let's talk
me
about it.
like it gets me amped up, I guess. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah. Okay. All right, so my turn.
Yes, your turn. And so for play-based learning in kindergarten, obviously love this topic. I completely agree with this issue in education. So, how would you define play-based learning in the kindergarten classroom?
So I have some notes down so I can like stay on track.
You go, see, I did not bring my notepad. I'm like, you know what? This is a real interview for me today.
I was like on my phone last night and I was like typing up my notes and my husband's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I have to work." And I was like, "I have to get stuff done." Um, so for me, teaching a year in kindergarten and before that I did pre-K.
Hmm.
And I felt like during pre-K it was really eye-opening because in pre-K you do a lot of place learning. No, that's tongue tying.
Hmm.
And you can see the benefits from that, right? Like it's more engaging for them, learning becomes fun, and it's, yeah, they're playing, but they're also still learning, right? And it's not just all testing focus. So when I moved to kindergarten, it was really an adjustment, I felt like, because when you go to kindergarten, I don't know so much maybe about the charter schools, but like for public schools, it was like right off the bat, testing, testing, and then this test, and then we had to get them ready for this testing, and it was always like numbers. And,
Hmm.
and so also during kindergarten, we were trying to come up with, like center rotations and stuff like that, just for reading, but also for math. And they were wanting to do a lot of like testing focused curriculum in these centers, and we tried them. And the kids were absolutely like bored out of their minds. And I felt like they weren't learning. And so that was really eye-opening to me because I feel like the play-based learning gets them more engaged, right? So it's just like if we were doing math, I can't just throw a piece of paper in front of them and expect them to just all of a sudden, obtain it, right? But if I had this paper and had, the little counting bears or I don't know,
Hmm.
like the marshmallows, do something fun and engaging, they understand it. So doing all this and trying it, and thankfully I had an admin that was like supportive.
Hmm.
Um, Out of the four classes, my class was one of the highest in the testing scores for like math
Oh, that's awesome.
specifically.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, wow. And, and some of the other girls now, one girl was teaching kindergarten for over 10 years. And she was like, well, what did you do like so different? And she's like, I was struggling all year and yada yada. I'm like, but I also didn't just throw a piece of paper in front of them and just say, you're going to do this whether you like it or not. Like I made learning fun, and I feel like so many kindergarten classes and curriculum have gotten so like far away from that.
Yeah, like they go from preschool where they're able to play outside more than once a day. They are able to do more of those fun center rotations that are still academic, but they don't realize that they're learning.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they switch over to kindergarten, you have to be able to sit on a carpet quietly while we go over sight words. And they're like, I don't know how to read. Well, I'm trying to help you learn how to read. So let's go through our letter sounds and all right, now you just need to know how to put it together. You need to say it, blend it, smash it together. And I feel like my students really struggled with that at the beginning of the year, and my teacher didn't understand why they were struggling. And I'm like, well, because we're treating them like robots. Like they have to just sit there and then do a worksheet, and then they just need to know their sight words.
Yeah.
Sight words are so hard, and so many other academic concepts.
Yeah. And I will say, we used the UF, we did use their UFly.
Oh, yes, you.
Yeah, so we did use that, and I will say like that was a game changer.
Mhm.
Um, because it was like once we got the ball rolling and they really were starting to like understand that part, it was like the reading was great. But then the next part with that is, okay, well, how do we make reading fun, right? Like it's not sometimes just throwing a book again in front of them and being like, okay, read this book and sit here still.
Mhm.
Like it's not always ideal because again, they're kindergarten, and I feel like so many people now and even on articles that I see, it's constantly like, well, kindergarten's the new third grade or something like they call it like that. And I'm just like, that's really sad, because kindergarten used to have naps.
Mhm.
It used to be really like the play-based learning. And they were successful. Like it wasn't that they were not. And now it's like, well, let's just do all testing focused. And it's like, but we have kids like literally declining and you're not even seeing it.
And testing like star and stuff like that doesn't impact them. It's just to see where they are. So putting such a heavy emphasis on it is a lot of pressure to put on the teacher and the students.
Yeah.
And they're little, they're only 5 or 6. Like they need to be 5 or 6. So like it's okay to be silly with them. Like I purposely do things wrong and then they love to tell me I'm wrong.
Mhm. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I still go and volunteer like once or twice at the school, just because I want to stay in the loop of things.
Yeah.
And I still like have all the kids, like when they see me now and they're just like they yell my name like Miss Wilder, and I think it was because I made learning so much fun. Like I wasn't like I was very serious, and I felt like I was stern, but at the same time, like fun. I don't know. I just made
Yeah, like they love structure, but they
Mhm.
love fun.
Yes. Yep. No,
Okay, like I
100%.
love a good structured classroom, but they definitely need some wiggle room.
Yes.
Like whenever I have like meetings with parents, they're just like, "Oh, like how are they doing behavioral rise?" I'm like, "They're 5. They can be 5." They're like, "Well, I know they talk a lot." I'm like, "It's okay. They're 5."
Yeah,
I was like, "I talk a lot sometimes. It's okay."
I
I'm
know.
like, "No big deal. We do brain breaks, get our wiggles out." Like,
Listen, I had one parent, she was like, well, they were asking like if I discipline, if I would like paddle them. And I'm like, what? Like what? Like what year are we in? Okay. Like just that.
it's
And I think that's like another whole topic is the parents, like what they're expecting now from the teachers,
mhm,
and that's like another whole different topic, on its own.
absolutely. And then so well, I guess we've already kind of like answered this question, but what do you think are some of like the negative benefits to just instructional academic learning in kindergarten?
So some of the negative aspects of it would be kids falling behind academically, because of the testing focused, right? And it's not, and I think another part would be it's not always accurate. We can put a computer in front of them and be like, okay, well, we really need you to take this test and be serious. And you know what I see them do half of the time? Click, 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 click.
Mhm.
like there's not even no interest in it because if let's just say if they're tired or already having a bad day when they come in, like I can't control that. Yeah, I can try to like, prep talk them and all that, but there's only so much that can even do. So I feel like the kids are declining, but it's not always, accurate.
Yeah, you never know what they have going on at home or if they're not
No.
doing well.
Yeah, and for where I live and the specifically the school that I was at was one of the most like lower income schools, I guess,
Gotcha.
out of all the three that were locally. And so that was like another whole struggle on its own was just the is that like the socioeconomic part of
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Um, they are coming from families that mom and dad are both working until 8 or 9 o'clock. They have a babysitter. So they're coming to school, falling asleep literally in my classroom, you know. And so I think there's that backside, like that negative side of it as well, is they're not getting the family support that they need,
Hmm.
and there's only so much that I think that schools can do with that alone, and yeah, you can try to host all these different things, which I thought the school was pretty good about. But a lot of them like couldn't make it because they have to work. So then
Yeah.
it's kind of like this back and forth. And I feel like it's a negative side, but at the same time, it's not because there's not really much they can do. Like they can't help it. They have to do what they need to do to survive. But I think as a teacher, there's that negative side because the schools are looking at you as the educator of like, well, you're not doing your job. And it's like, well, I really am trying
Yeah.
to do like what I can,
Hmm.
but like we're limited,
Yeah.
And I think then that part comes in with funding. Like
Mhm.
there's always, well, we don't have enough funding or there's not this and there's not that. And it's like, okay, well, okay.
Well, then you can't know what to do.
Yeah.
So if what how do you incorporate play-based learning like in a structured academic environment? Like what if you don't know how to? Like kind of like how you went from not having play-based learning and then you started incorporating those skills. Like how do you go about doing that?
I think one was having seen other classrooms and not just like kindergarten alone. I think was also just going and looking at pre-K. So I
Hmm.
think if there's teachers that maybe have never been in pre-K and just have gotten just like see what they do, I think on the daily
Yeah.
would help. And so I think if they can get the experience of just like, let me just go in and shadow
Hmm.
a teacher. And that kind of gives you, I think, the idea of like how engaging the play-based learning can be.
Hmm.
Um, so lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
I was like, oh gosh. Um, okay, so we're talking about ways that can do it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that was the big one, but also it's just a lot of like trial and error. There's a lot of good resources online that are credible.
Hmm.
Um, and it doesn't hurt to try them. Like it may not work out. It may only be good for like a day or 2 days or a week, but that's okay. Like it's okay to try something. And if it
Hmm.
doesn't work, okay, well, let's move on. Let's try something else. And I think that's another part is people get so scared or like, well, we have to do this. And it's like, well, then now you're forcing them and they're not going to like it. And it's going to do like the opposite effect. So it's okay. Like I feel like I don't know. Some of the one girl I was working with, I felt like she was very like because she had taught so many years that she couldn't like see past that. So it was very like I have to be a perfectionist kind of thing. And it was like it's okay to try something different. Like yeah, maybe for a couple years you didn't have to do that and it worked, but maybe now it's okay to try it. Like
Yeah.
nobody is holding you to this like well, you've taught for so many years that you have to do this. And it's like, no, it's okay. Because I feel like the generation is changing even with these little kids. So like we're gonna constantly have to keep evolving ourselves. And not just holding ourselves like, well, this worked 2 years ago, so it's can't, it needs to work now. It's like, maybe not.
Yeah, and it's like we encourage like kindergartners, like it's okay to make mistakes. So it's okay if we try something out and it doesn't work, but it's also like really important for the teacher to see like if this instructional method isn't working, like
Yeah.
we have to change something.
No, I think for me, those would be like the top ones that I feel like that I have not only experienced, but just also have done research. And those are usually what pops up, is just, I don't know, like just
Yeah,
just trying things.
seeing what works, seeing what doesn't.
Yeah, yep. So,
Well, I think you did great because you have a lot of experience with this topic, and obviously it's very personal to you. It's basically like exactly like what we had discussed for me, but like you're obviously very passionate about it, and your lived experience like really helps like shine on the importance of this critical issue about play-based learning. Um, and then to grow, I mean, I think you did a great job, but I guess like I mean we've already discussed this like with me like we can go from like topic to topic so I guess it's just like trying to remain like consistent through the
and
one thought process
also
but
like not have
I think it's
my
great.
and
I
not
think it
have
went
my
great.
brain go blank. I am like, I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
yeah, but like I think it went great and I feel like this was a very nice like natural interview discussion, very very realistic.
I honestly, I'm so like relieved because I feel like we go really well together.
Yes, I was
Um,
like, oh, thank you for this place.
oh, I know. When I seen that we have to do this, I was just like, what? I was like, I mean, not that I'm not a social person. I really am like a very social person.
Yeah.
Um, so I wasn't like I was like, but at the same time, I
I
was
haven't had to do many group projects at UF, but the few that I have done have been a little bit more challenging. But
oh,
I also appreciate that you were willing to do this like so early on for the topic to help accommodate me since I'm about
oh,
to have a baby.
I
But
know.
that was very kind and sweet of you taking time out of your spring break to help do this with me.
Well, backside of the story is so I'm married,
Mhm.
but my husband, he had kids prior to me. And anyways, the oldest one, he's married, and his wife, my daughter-in-law, she's due this week or next week. So we're just kind of like in that waiting period. So when you told me about yours, I was just like, this is kind of funny. Like I get goosebumps thinking about it just because I was like, it's so like I get it, and I was not gonna hold that like against you because I like even now like I am constantly am like waiting for that phone call because I don't know when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, so no, I totally get that because I've had a bad experience with partners, and so I wanted to be able to accommodate you because before I got one time I got trapped with two boys. And they were both like young, living in the dorms, like whatever. And they were really mean to me because they did not understand like I was working full-time teaching. And I also I have two girls of my own. We also like adopted my niece, so then there's three on top of that, plus teaching and everything else. And so I was trying to do like the Zoom calls, but they were wanting to do the Zoom calls at like lunchtime on like a Wednesday. That's
Yeah.
not gonna work for me. And so they were like really mean. It was really bad. Like we were having to go back and forth with the professor. And I was like, listen, like they're wanting to do 12 o'clock Zoom calls. That's not gonna work for me. So she would have to go back to them. And then they were like angry. that the professor made them do later Zoom calls. It was
Yeah.
like a whole thing. Thankfully, I mean, I passed with the class and did good with the project, but I was like waiting for it to be done. But so like this is a huge relief for me.
Yeah, and I've had a similar experience where I'm like, okay, well, like, I'm sorry, like, you have time to only do school. I was like, I have school full time, I work full time, I'm married, so I have to take care of my household, and now I'm pregnant on top of it, and I'm like, I'm trying to be a super girl over here, and I was like, I'm just trying to make sure everything is set up for before my scheduled C-section, so I can just go about my day.
So, are you having a girl or a boy?
I'm having a girl.
Oh, I love it.
And the C-section is scheduled not like for any like complication. I broke my hip when I was younger, so it's just to like make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I have two girls of my own. I like it's like girl life. It's crazy, but it's fun. But my daughter-in-law, she's having a girl, but she is trying to do like
Girl season right
everything.
now. Like
Yeah,
all
I
of my
know.
colleagues that are pregnant are also having
Yes,
girls.
same. I know like three other girls. It was actually at the school that I was working at. Like, I don't know. There must have been something in the water because there's
Yeah.
like four of them right now, and they're all gonna happen at like the same time, which is crazy. But they're
I
all
feel
girls.
literally there are four of us that are pregnant. We're all having girls, and
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, I'm glad we supported this.
It must be like a girl wave. Yeah, she turned 40 weeks on Monday. Um, but
Oh, she's ready.
yeah, like she's ready, but she wants to do like everything like natural. Like she doesn't want an epidural. She doesn't want to get like induced, anything like that. Um, so we're just like in the waiting realm, I guess, just because there's no updates. Like I'm like every day, I'm like, anything? And she's like, no, nothing. And I was like, okay. So
Okay, then we'll keep going.
I'm like, yeah, I was like, I was kind of hoping selfishly, like, I was like, I really wanted it to be this week because it's spring break and
Yeah,
I don't have to like rush to get my kids from school. But I have a feeling that she's like really nice and toasty in there. So she's gonna be like, eh, let's
yeah. I
just
feel
keep
like her eviction notice has to be coming soon.
it. I'm like,
Regardless, it has to be there.
oh, I love it. Well, congratulations. That's
Thank
really
you. Congratulations to
awesome.
you. I hope it happens very quickly. Watch, it's gonna happen right after the Zoom call.
I know. And I'm like, okay, it's really cool because like I'm young. I'm only in my 30s, so it's like I get to call myself a Gigi and everybody's like, wow, like what? You're a grandma. And I'm like, I know, right? Like this is really cool. And then, and then graduation is like gonna be right there. So then I'm like, yes. It's like
Yes. Yeah. Are you walking or are
I
you?
am. I am. I'm gonna do the basketball stadium, the Stephen O'Con like I'm
Oh,
gonna do that one on Thursday, April 30th, but I'm not gonna do like the football field one. I just felt like that wasn't really me.
yeah. I did. I like first I didn't register in time for the graduation. I was like, oh man, like I just want my degree. Like I'm okay if
Yeah.
I don't walk. And
Yeah.
then like so I emailed the advisor and she's like, oh, like it's fine. Like, how do you want your name on your degree? And I'm like, oh, I just want it like this. I'm like, she's like, are you sure you don't want to walk over summer? I'm like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah, because I mean, well, you'll be recovering, but like
Yeah, I'm like, this is enough like great milestones for me anyway.
no, and that's huge. Listen, no, I totally get that. It's fine. At least you're done it. You did it. You're good.
Yeah,
And
we're good.
you're setting your family up for success, I guess I should say.
Yeah, well, congrats, Gigi.
Thank you. Okay, so we have to do one more, right? One more
But
interview.
I think from what
Or
it was just like your interview and my interview, and like we
okay,
just did it all in one. So it seemed like we covered everything. So then we just have to submit this, and then initially before this, it was like those questions on like what our interview structure was.
I think it was like, was it the 500 word like paragraph
Yeah,
or something like that, which almost like threw me off because it's not even, I'm like very, I don't know, I love the calendar because I'm like, I see everything and it crosses it off.
I
And
love
this
that, and I love the
one,
to-do list.
yes, but this one is not on there, the 500 word. And I think so then when I went on, I think it says because it's like unlimited tries, I guess you can like resubmit it and all that. And like the last day is like April 5th. And I was like, oh, okay. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it almost like kind of snuck up. But do we both have to submit the Zoom video or is it just one of us?
I think we can just in case. I think they said that it would count for both of us. Like I think I did or no, I may have just looked at it, but there was a submission where you have to put like both of our names, the date of our Zoom call and the time. But that would count for just one of those submissions would count for both of us, which I can do that after because now that this is done, I'm just trying to knock out the rest of the class today. But this basically is the rest of it.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. But you can always message me if anything.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I was like, I don't even know. Like, we stop it, like, and we just save it, I guess.
Well, and that's what I was wondering too, because she said it goes to the cloud, but I'm like, I don't have like, I don't even know if I'm not even signed in. Like, I don't have a Zoom account because I don't use it all the time.
Yeah, I don't use Zoom either. But this is supposed to be tied to like our UF thingy.
So now I'm like worried.
Oh, oops.
I don't know.
Well, it's definitely recording. So,
Okay. I don't know. Oh man. I don't use Zoom enough.
there's a thing for stop video. I'm gonna click on it, see what happens.
Okay. You can always message me and we can figure
Oh,
it
it just stops my video. Okay.
out. Oh wait,
All
hold
right. Well,
on. Oh man.
this will be a really fun part for the video for them. They get to watch how this works.
If they watch ours, they're gonna be like, wow.
They're like, wow, these poor
Really?
girls.
Yeah, these girls really stay on topic.
Yeah, like wow. No, it's
Okay,
just been.
I'll try. Oh man, I can't. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I did now.
Oh, I guess maybe if we just end the call, it'll just have the recording, I assume, because I guess it's gonna keep recording as long as the video's on.
I was thinking that. So if anything, I don't know, like if you can't save it and I do, then I'll send it to you. If I
Okay.
can't save it, then you can just like message me the video.
Okay.
That's the only way I
Oh,
think because I don't know, like I've never had to record a Zoom call and I'm
yes.
not signed in, so I'm like, where is it gonna save if I'm not?
Yeah, I'm like, can we just download it real fast?
Mm. I know that's what I was trying to do, but now I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll just end it and just try from there.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Bye. Oh, if I can do
Oh,
it.
end meeting for all. Okay.